I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Good evening. Welcome to our Omid Yomi Shir. We are now doing the Omid Yomi, as always, of Dirshu. We're following the Dirshu cycle. We are in Daf Ein Beis Omid Beis and Beis Omid Beis. Itmar. So the Shir is for the Atzloch of Klal Yisrael, Bezos Hashem, the Bnei Torah. The soldiers will come back. Bezos Hashem, the kidnapped people, Hashem Yishmor. Everyone will come back home safe and greet Mashiach. Itmar, we're just missing one word from the Amud Aleph is Itmar. Before we start, I want to give a small introduction. We have been learning for quite a long time about shogeg that causes you to bring chatas. And we know very, very clearly now what shogeg is all about, or at least we know the basics of shogeg. Shogeg means either the person forgot that today's Shabbos, or he forgot, or he didn't know that what he's doing is forbidden, or both. Or he does not know the entire concept of Shabbos. One common denominator is the person knows what he's doing. In other words, when I stand there in the kitchen, chas v'shalom, and I cook and I cut and I do boyer and like 15 other melachas, I don't know it's Shabbos, or maybe I don't know it's Osir, but I know what I'm trying to achieve, I'm doing. I'm cutting the tomato, so I'm cutting a tomato. It's not Osir to cut a tomato. I grind the tomato, I know what I'm doing. I cook the pasta, I'm cooking the pasta. The action itself, what I want to do, I'm actually doing. Elamai, I'm missing a side point and some kind of side information. I don't know if today's Shabbos, I don't know if it's Osir, right? But other than that, if you're looking from a non-Torah point of view, I'm achieving what I want, right? That is regular shogeg. Question is, what happens when the person is not even achieving what he wants to do? He's trying to do X and he's doing Y. In other words, it's such a lack of meleches machshavos here that what he's trying to do and what he does at the end of the day are not the same. I'm trying to do X and I'm doing Y. It's a mistake. It's a mistake even by Goyish terms. And then the question is, what happens then? Okay? Niskaven lagvias atolush. Case number one. Niskaven lagvias atolush. Listen to the words. The person wants to pick up something which is disconnected. Let's say a knife. That's the best example. Rashi says, "Nofel sokin beyurga seyorok v'niskaven lagbioi." There's a knife that fell into the garden patch, the vegetable patch. I want to pick up a knife. Picking up is not called cutting, and it's mutar and Shabbos. And by mistake, by complete fluke, by the wrong movement, so to speak, of the hand, or just not realizing what happens, as I'm picking up the knife, I'm cutting the carrot or the tomato or the cucumber that was connected to the ground. Meaning I did kotzer, but completely unwillingly. I wanted to do X and I did Y. I wanted to do hagbah, picking up, and I did tlisha. I did a ktsira. So then potter. Then it's a complete ptur. Even if the guy knew that it's Shabbos, is potter, and if he forgot that it's Shabbos, he's potter for bringing a korban. Meaning this is a level, and this is welcome to the world of misasek. Misasek means to inadvertently do something. Osek, I'm dealing with X while I'm really doing Y. I'm accidentally doing something, and therefore that is below shogeg, and I don't have to bring a korban. Let's see the Rashi that brings us the source for Misasek, the second Rashi. Dichtiv asher choto bo. It says in the pasuk that you have sinned in the chet itself, meaning regarding shogeg. What's called shogeg that makes me bring the korban? If I know choto bo, I wanted to turn on the light, and guess what? I turned on the light. I thought it's Sunday, but I'm choyte bo. What I did is what I wanted. I got the results done. Then I'm called shogeg, and it's bad enough to bring a korban. But Doshinan Bekrisus, Rashi, the second Rashi, Prat lemisasek b'dover acher v'osa dover zeh. That's misasek. I'm oisek. I'm dealing with X, and I'm doing Y. I'm achieving Y by mistake, right? That is called misasek. That's below shogeg, and the person does not have to bring a korban. Many examples. I gave the example already when we gave the introduction. You have a light switch behind you, and you're stretching. I'm allowed to stretch on Shabbos. It's not really going to the gym, I'm stretching. Look what happened. Oy vey. By mistake, my elbow hit the light switch. Never ever happens to anybody, of course, right? Science fiction. So then what? I have one behind me in the Shabbos table, so I always keep like a good 1 meter distance. Like I'm aware of that. It's like the red button, So basically, that's misasek. That's misasek because he's completely unaware, right? And therefore, continues Rashi, b'shogeg echidami. What is called shogeg? Kigon sheniskaven lekach. He meant to do what he did. Avol shogeg, he's making a side mistake. The sover she'enem Shabbos, he thinks today is not Shabbos. Or sover she'malach muteres, right? He thinks that to turn on the light is okay. They never told him, or he forgot. V'zeh, our guy in the Gemara, Misasek b'agbahoya v'lo b'chaticha. It's important to stress for the next step of the sugya. We're talking about completely two different actions. I want to pick up a still object, a knife or a fork, picking up an object, and the malacha is cutting a connected fruit or vegetable. It's very different. And everyone agrees that it's so different between what I want and what I got. That's called misasek. That's stage number one. Easy. Everyone agrees to that. Who's everyone? Abai and Rova. Now comes the next case. Now, I wanted to cut a tomato, and the tomato was on the ground in the garden, and I could swear to you, I'm a Yerushalayim person, I could swear that this tomato was disconnected. I thought it was just lying there on the ground. So I thought of cutting it there. Yeah, right there. You know what happened? That piece was mechubar. I cut the one that was mechubar, even if it's the same one, or koshikin if it's a different one. Just as there's many other examples, I'm not going there, it's too much. But basically, I did want to cut something, but I wanted to cut something disconnected. I'm allowed to cut tomato into two, of course. But that tomato that I cut happens to be connected to the ground. So I'm doing koitzer. Then I did not achieve what I wanted, but it's similar. Because in both cases, really, what's the story? I wanted to cut X and I cut Y. It's not as different as picking and cutting. This is cutting connected versus cutting disconnected. So that's machlokes already. Is that called misasek, or is it too close for comfort and it's not misasek? So it's machlokes Abai and Rove. Rove Omar Potu. Rove says he is exempt. Why? Rove learns that this is still considered to be what? To be a case of misasek. Because as the Gemara is going to explain why. Abai Omar Chayev. Abai says he's Chayev. Is Chayev meaning it's not misasek. What are you chayev? Let's say, listen to this, because this will be prepared for the next part. Let's say I forgot that it's Shabbos, and I was misasek. I forgot that it's Shabbos, and I also cut the connected instead of disconnected. Says Abaye, you're not called misasek. You forgot it's Shabbos? You're chayev chatos. You're chayev chatos. Rove Omar Potu. Now the Gemara explains why. Rove Omar Potu. Yeah, Rove says he's Potu. Why? Zog the Heilige Gemara, the Alon is kaven lechaticha deisura. He did not mean to do anything forbidden, right? He didn't want to do any iser. He wanted to actually cut something that's disconnected. That's okay, detached. Therefore, the halachically, what he's doing is very different, and therefore that's called misasek. Abai says no, you chayev chates because you're not misasek. If you're not looking at the halachic point of view, you wanted to cut and you cut. You cut tomato very nicely. You wanted to cut tomato for the salad, you got it. And although the halachic difference is vast, but technically it's similar, it's too similar that Abai doesn't see it as misasik. He says the kavana and the result, please join us. Yeah, the result and the kavana are too close, and you chayev according to Rava. That's the end of the machlokes. Now we're going to see the sources. Omar Rava, mino minalo. Rava will now try to bring a proof to his point from a brisa. That brisa is really easy. You just have to listen hard because his brisa is like the basis for everything we're going to see today. Remember very, very well. I'm preparing. It's very important to remember Reisha and Seifa. Yeah, like many brises and Mishnayos, the Reisha and the Seifa tell us two different stories, and the shayla is how connected are the two parts of the brisa. Okay, Reisha. Let's go for the Reisha. The Tanya. It says in the Reisha. Shabbos mishar mitzvahs. Okay, that's a ratio. Shabbos is more severe, more stringent than other mitzvahs. Okay, that's the first thing. Boom. Second, shar mitzvahs mishabbos. In other aspects, in some things, other mitzvahs are more chomur, more strict and stringent than Shabbos. Reisha again. Let's get the explanation of the first sentence, although everything will be explained later. In what way, in what aspect is Shabbos more severe and chomer and strict than other mitzvahs? Shabbos, when it comes to Shabbos with shogeg, also shtayim be'elam echod. Let's say the person, what did he do? Two malachos with one helam. Hey, don't get confused. I don't mean helam Shabbos. In one go, he got hit on the head. He forgot two malachos are osir. He forgot about koitzer and toichen. Yeah, I forgot about the two together. He forgot about the gardening malachas. Koitzer toichen is, he forgot two malachas. Chayvel kol achas v'achas. You know that. Obviously, I wake you up in the middle of the night, you tell me that. Obviously, if he forgot a melacha per melacha, he knows about Shabbos. He knows about 10 melachas, 20 melachas. There are certain melachas he forgot together, but still, it's individual. It's compartmentalized. And therefore, if I forgot about ktsira, tchina, and breira, I have to bring 3 chatos. We all know that. Masha'en ken b'shar mitzvahs. In other mitzvahs, on the other hand, when there's a similar case, I'll have to bring only 1 chatos. What is a similar case in other mitzvahs? Aha, we're in for very interesting explanations. Right now, the Brisa is not explaining itself. It's very enigmatic. But just remember the ratio. What did the ratio say? Shabbos is more severe chomer than other mitzvahs, because in Shabbos, when you have 2 chatois in one, 2 mistakes, you have to bring per each one, koitzer and toichen, chatas. Other mitzvahs that have a similar case, whatever that is, then you only have to bring 1 chatas. Okay, seifa, back to the seifa. The chomer shal mitzvahs mishabbos. On the other hand, other mitzvahs are more severe than Shabbos. Shebishar mitzvahs, when it comes to other mitzvahs, shogeg below miskaven chayev. Mashenken b'Shabbos. What shogeg below miskaven? Misasek plus shogeg. Shogeg below miskaven has many meanings. The classical meaning at the beginning of the sugya will be shogeg. You forgot the halacha. Yeah, shogeg, by the way, as we know from many places already before, not only in Shabbos. The guy knows he's eating chaylev. He's eating chaylev. He pays good money for the chaylev. He doesn't know it's also. How many Jews are like that, Lo Aleinu, right? He knows you're not allowed to eat ham because his grandmother told him, and you're not allowed cheeseburger. He tries not to at home. But the chaylev, yeah, he doesn't know, right? So he knows he's eating the chaylev. It's not misasek. It does not affect the halachic facts, okay? So shogeg below miskaven means he's shogeg halachically. Loy miskaven, he's not even achieving what he wants technically. Misasek, in other words. So chayev, in other words, we're going to see that in other areas in halacha, misasek is chayev. We're going to work hard to get there. Misasek is chayev. And in Shabbos, misasek is potur. And remember, Rava is the one who's standing behind this brisa. Rava gets support from this brisa. Right? 1 second. Clearly be explained. Okay? Amal, it's one of the most fun sugyas in Shabbos, really. Amal, now we're going to analyze, break down, and explain the brisa. Amal, Reisha. Chomer Shabbos mishar mitzvahs. Shabbos is more severe, more strict than other mitzvahs. Why? Shabbos also shtayim be'elam echad. You need 2 malachas with 1 helem. You forgot about zorea and koitzer. Let's say chavel kol achas b'achas. You have 1 per malacha. But she'en ken b'shar mitzvahs, as opposed to other mitzvahs. Okay. Question is, where in other mitzvahs on earth do you have concepts of aventolda, of something similar to koitzer v'toichen? Hechidami. How could that be? Find me an equivalent, please. Ilema. If you want to tell me, thank you very, very, very much. Really, I'm sorry to make it. Yeah, you brought it more. Thank you very, very, very much. Whoever wants to drink, please. Yeah. I'm sorry for stopping our friends on YouTube. Yeah. Ilema, the ovad ktsira v'tchina. As we said, the person he did ktsira, cutting, harvesting, cutting off the ground, detaching from the ground, v'tchina, and grinding. The kavosa, what would be the equivalent in other mitzvahs, other averas? Gabishar mitzvahs, the equivalent would be ochel chelev v'dam. If you eat chelev and dam, you ate chelev, a chelev sausage. We are in daf ayin beis amud beis, kind of in the middle of the page. You can also use this if you want, or this, whichever one. We're about here in the middle. Omar ma, after 2 dots, Omar ma, Omar ma. So now, ilem odavot tzir v'tchina. The kavos of b'shar mitzvahs, the equivalent in other mitzvahs, ochel chelev v'dam. He had a piece of chelev, chazais dam. That's not true. Achatati b'chayev, ochatati b'chayev. You chayev there too also. You're trying to tell me on Shabbos I'm chayev 2, and in other mitzvahs I'm chayev 1. False. That's not a good example. In other mitzvahs, if I ate a piece of chelev, I ate a piece of dam, I'm chayev 2. We all know that. Even though it's 1 helam, we forgot about kashrus in general. Yeah, okay. So then what chelev and dam are still 2, right? Conveniently. And here what? And in Shabbos you also chayev 2. You're trying to find a case where in other mitzvahs you have only 1. That's not the case. Ela shar mitzvahs dolo mechayev ela chodo echidami. When would you have a case in other mitzvahs, or actually other averas, that you did 2 separate things, different things, and you still only chayev 1? Dochel chelev v'chelev. You had two pieces of chaylev. Okay, the gabish kavos, the gabish Shabbos. Thank you very much. The equivalent for that, you're not being fair. Yeah, the opponent has to be like the first opponent, right? Then you're being chaylev and gechaylev against ktira v'tchina. No, ktira v'tchina and Shabbos are two different worlds. We established that very well in Daf Ayin Amud Aleph. The kavos and gabish Shabbos don't ktira v'ktira. The equivalent of chaylev and chaylev is not ktira and tchina, it's ktira and ktira. Why? Eating chaylev and eating chaylev is the same thing exactly again and again. Therefore, ktira and ktira should be equalized to that, compared to that, not ktira and tchina. And therefore, the ovad ktira mechayev, stuck. It's like it's sticky, right? If you're looking for two against two, it's always two. One against one, it's only one. Answers the Gemara. Now we have to be innovative. Bekitzer, what are we looking for? We're now looking for that Avera in the Torah, where the real Avera, step up, please. We're looking for an Avera in which there's a general Avera, right? The Chiyuv, that doesn't not exactly told us. You have many different actions that all are connected to the same Avera. And although one would say Misvara, you should be chayv different chatos, you still have one chatos, although they're different activities. We found that in Avodah Zura. That's the one. That's the Averos. The Averos really means Avodah Zara. And what's the story? Of course, from the Shabbos point of the debate, you have Ktira and Tchina. They belong to the same Isser of Shabbos, but they're very different, and you have two Chatois, for Ktira, for Tchina. Umay, Mashenke, Mashal mitzvahs, yeah? What is equivalent in other mitzvahs that could have been two, because are different, like different actions, and yet they're one, and that's the kula of other averas. Avodah Zorah, Mazel Tov. We found Avodah Zorah. That's the one. Why Avodah Zorah? Uked Rabbi Ami, following the opinion of Rabbi Ami in Sanhedrin, Samech something, something, I don't remember. It says there, Dom Rabbi Ami, says Rabbi Ami, Zibech, a person did very different actions to Avodah Zorah. He shechted the korban. I'm sorry to use these words. A korban, a sacrifice to the Getchke in India. The Keter, he brought some Ketoris. Yeah, they do that in Far East, or in Christianity, I think also, right? He did Ketoris, how do you call incense, right? It's called a Ketoris for Lo Lady, for the golden statue in Thailand, Venisech, libation, he brought some wine and poured for them his mouth. They're very different. The actions are very different. And by the way, some of the Zoras believe in it and some don't. It's a sugin of a Zora. Let's say the Getchke in Thailand, they do Nisuch, the one in China, they don't. But you still chayv in both of them because they do that to Hashem. That's a rule, right? The actions are physically very different, right? That's wine and that's shechting. What's the connection? And he forgot, not that he does know about the Zora. Mamash like Shabbos, he knows you're not allowed to let you bow down. That he knows. They taught him that in Hebrew school, but he doesn't know about libation and sacrifice. And he did haloma achas means different items of the same haloma. And achas, bingo. Although we have different actions, right? Completely, and they all belong to the same mother, the same umbrella called of a Zorah, one would argue and say maybe it's different chatais. He's mistaken regarding this and not regarding that, not regarding Jishtachavaya, let's say. And yet we view them all together. We say only one. I guess because of the Zohar doesn't have the psukim of Shabbos. In Shabbos we have Eila. We know why. You can use Gemara. Keep on. So bekitzer, ein chayv elo achas. That's the story. On Shabbos we have different limudim that you have separate chatos for each one, right? And we know that from where? Well, one example, Mois Yumas, from Havor Lalav Yotzas, Achas Mehena. Shabbos has a special thing that the details are so different, they're judged separately. Avodah Zarah would have been the same. Elamai, the third, wasn't Mechadish there. There it says no. Although there are many different actions, it's only one. So we're done with the Reisha. The Reisha, you can tick the box. We got the Reisha right, and we're not going to change from that. Mazel Tov. In other words, the Reisha is okay. Who is the Avera, which is more Kal than Shabbos, in respect of the amount of Chatois? Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah, it's very terrible. It's a terrible thing. Or saying, the amount of chatois, you only bring one, although there are many different actions, as opposed to Shabbos, you bring many chatois, one per action, one per hour. Beautiful. That's the easy part. Now, what did we say? The Seifa. The Seifa, what did we say in the Seifa? Remind me that on Shabbos you potter on Misasek, and in other Averas you chayev on Misasek. Okay. Now, there's something called in English consistency, right? and we assume that brisa is consistent, right? And therefore, if the Reisha spoke about the Avodah Zarah, and it's like a math equation, what's the x? What's the variable? Avodah Zarah. So we assume the same formula goes further, and X means Avodah Zarah. So in the Seifa, when you're telling me that there are other Averos out there, mysterious Averos, where you are Chai from Misasek, well, we know, you remove the mask. You're telling me from the Reisha that it's Avodah Zarah. And if I did Avodah Zarah by Misasek, I'm Chayev. And on Shabbos I'm Potter. So first of all, how do you Misasek in Avodah Zarah? And what does it mean? That's going to be the new thing we're going to explore. Now, b'may kimta, frag digmor Baruch Hashem. B'may kimta, how do you explain that issue of other affairs, other mitzvahs, Bava Zarah? Very good. Aim a sefer. Let's see now. Let's read the sefer in light of what you told me. In light of what you told me. Choy b'mashal mitzvahs. You tell me other mitzvahs are more severe than Shabbos. Shebashal mitzvahs shogeg b'lo miskav and chayev. Let's just call it one word, misasek. In other affairs, meaning of a Zarah. I did have a Zarah in form of Misasek, right? Whatever that means, we're going to see now, right? A complete mistake, complete detached from reality and doing of a Zarah somehow. And I'm Chayev, B'Shenken B'Shabbos, if I did Misasek, I'm Potter. On Shabbos, if I picked up everyone agrees, let's say something everyone agrees on, consensus, I picked up the knife, but that's what I thought I'm doing. I really just want to pick up the knife. And all of a sudden, the cucumber was cut. Right? I'm potter, right? Because we said, bo, in it. Avodah Zarah, if I have a matzav of shogeg below miskaven, misasek Avodah Zarah, I'm chayiv. And the question obviously is, hi shogeg below miskaven Avodah Zarah, hey chidami. How would you ever have a case of, again, shogeg below miskaven? Now we have to get more into, to enlarge the picture, focus. Shogeg below miskaven, at this moment, it's going to change later. At the moment we think shogeg below miskaven, I told you means what? Shogeg means I'm unaware halachically. I could think of it as Zohar is okay. Nobody taught me in the school, not me, I'm saying those that went to secular schools, they don't know about the Zohar is also, right? I think it's some much cultural thing. And lo miskaven, he did not even achieve the Zohar that he wanted, technically. Like I cut the tomato instead of the picking the knife, right? How do you have such a case in the Zorah? Practically, how do you have such a story? I'm thinking of the Zorah with shogeg and lo miskaven, meaning misasek. How would that be? Hey chidami, how is that? Ilema, we are now. It's easy to catch up in the first wide line. The first wide line. Ilema, if you want to tell me, kasavo basic knessesu. Oh, he got into the church, a real of a Zorah one, a real Catholic place, and I don't know how. He thinks it's a shul. He thinks it's a basic knesses. Is respectfully, some of them maybe look alike.
Place.
What?
A Jewish Yashka place in the United States.
You're right.
Yeah.
Really? If they look like a shul?
Yeah, they took those shuls and after they put it, and then
Really? Jews for Jay, they take shuls?
They have a Sefer Torah, they have a cross, the whole 9 yards.
Really? Fine. So for trying to cross in the same place, it's worse than the church. Like, really? Yes. Okay, so here we are. At least we understand the Gemara. Segata is one of these Nazi places, the J for J thing, I don't know what it's called, yeah. And he thinks his basic knesses, he bowed down to whatever was there, thinking that it's a shul.
Yom Kippur, he went on the ground.
Went it right, he thinks. And Vishtachvala, his mind, what does he want to do? He thinks that double mistake. Why is it a double mistake? Because first of all, right, he doesn't know it's Avodah Zarah, so it's missing a halachic detail. Like I don't know it's Shabbos, I don't know it's Chelev, it's halachic. I don't know it's Avodah Zarah. Now, what's the mistake technically? I wanted to be mishtachaveh to what? To Hashem, and by fluk it's Avodah Zarah. It's very darkistic over here. Shabbos is a technical, physical thing. Avodah Zarah is all mental. But if you divide the mistake, look at Rashi. Rashi here says it's betzim two mistakes. I technically don't know it's Avodah Zarah, right? And secondly, I also want to daven to Hashem. Let me give you an example. Let's say the guy's lowering over the Avodah Zarah. I thought of a chiluk in Rashi. Let's say the guy thinks I want to bow down to Buddha. You're allowed to say the name, I think. Yeah, because it's not real Avodah Zarah. To Budka, and really he bowed down to a Roman idol, right? Then mitzad, the technical mistake, it's a technical mistake. But the Avera he wants to do. Here, it's technical mistake. He thought it's a shul and it's avodah zarah, and he doesn't want to do avodah zarah. Liba l'shamayim. He wants to daven to Hashem. He wants to bow down to Hashem. It's like cutting the tomato in Shabbos is your kavana. It's both kavana and action, both mental and avodah zarah. You have a very grave mistake here altogether. If so, says the Gemara, that's not a problem. Misasek. Liba l'shamayim. Unbelievable. That in that case, you will tell me he's chayev? He's not chayev because his heart is to Hashem. Look at Rashi, unbelievable Rashi, which I think this Rashi is a source for what Jews did in the time of the Inquisition, where I'm going tomorrow. Wow, even if he knew it's a church, he knew it's an Inquisition place, he knew it's a budka, and his heart, he wanted to Hashem, he's not chayev. I'm not a person halacha, but that's what Rashi holds. It's a very interesting, controversial Rashi. So Mimela, leave Misasek alone. It's all about my heart. If in my heart I actively wanted to bow down to Mishtachave to Hashem, even though I knew it's avodah zarah, right? I'm not chayiv anyways. We're now looking, don't forget, 3 factors: Misasek, avodah zarah, and chayiv. Chayiv chatos, or b'mezid chayiv skila. That's not the case. He's klape chutz, big mechlokes rishonim, yeah? But Rashi holds klape chutz. You bow down, and inside you're saying, Hashem, I love you, and I'm just doing this for whichever reason. What? You're potter. That's a good question. Now, we're not talking about a guy who's forced under death. No. It's a good question. Why? But he's davening. He's bowed down to the Zohar. That's where his parents took him. He's about tshuva at the beginning of the process. I don't know. He goes with his family. I don't know what. And he's bowed down with kavanah to Hashem. He's not chayiv. Next. So that's not the case of Misasek that's chayiv. What? It's not even shogeg. No, it's potter. No, potter means no. Ein chiyuv. Ein chiyuv means it's not shogeg. Shogeg is a chiyuv chatas. No, he's not chayiv. It's not called avodah zarah. Shogeg means that no, he knows it's avodah zarah. He says afilu yoda. Rashi says afilu yoda. Rashi says afilu yoda shemeis avodah zarah. It's not shogeg. He knows it's avodah zarah. He may know it's also, but his heart is to Hashem. Why is he doing it? Good question. Now, the Ella, we nix that. Next, please. Let's try to find another case of what? Misasek, in avodah zarah, and chayev. The Ella, the chazi andarta. Andarta is the word in modern Hebrew, by the way. Andarta is a statue. Andarta, you know andarta? The memento, it's a kind of statue. It's a statue of the king. He saw a statue of the king, v'sagid, and he bowed down to the statue of the king, to the sculpture of the king. Hey, Chidami, wait a minute. What was the story? If he's such a big patriot, he accepted the king. And last time a king, they have a pestle of Biden, such an admirable guy. Yeah, a statue of Joe Biden. He bows down to him. He decided that's his getchke. Ad kedei kach, a very true blue American. Yeah, he's amazing. Is Mabish doing avodah zarah? Because if he decided that any item almost in the world is a getchke, he decided the phone is a getchke, it's avodah zarah. You bow down to it. Yeah, amazing. So that's not the case. Let's say bow down to it, that what? Without accepting anything, without accepting that it's a law. He's being what? He's being a very patriotic person. He bows down to it out of respect. Lav klumu, then it's nothing. I bow down. It's a shtickle modna from Jew bowing down to the president. Yeah, he's a very big true blue believer in whoever. Yeah. By the way, we're not in Chadesh, we're just building up towards the hitting to the maskona. Ela me'ava me'ira. That's a semi-maskona. Ava me'ira means as follows, and that happens to many Jews and used to happen. He's bowing down to the king or even to the avodah zarah, yeah, out of love to his friend or fear of his friend. Why is he going to church? He's Bemet's a good Jew, but his wife a Christian. So for her, I love her, I go to with her, and I bow down to the cross, to the getchke, because she wants me to. Or my boss is next to me. And if I don't bow down to the getchke, my boss is going to fire me. So he's doing that, me'ava me'ira, of a different person, says Rashi. Avas odom me'ira sodom ishtachava. Why is that called shogeg? Shogeg and one second, Akiva. I'll hear you soon. Why is it shogeg below miskaven? Shogeg, he thinks that it's okay. He thinks that I don't really. By the way, I'm avoiding your question. I'm scared David is going to ask me this now, or you. Yeah, this is not the guy who's davening to Hashem in his heart and happens to be in church. He's bowing down to the Zohar, not thinking anything. He's parev, but he is, so it's not so good. He's not actively mechaven to Hashem, but he's bowing down and doing an avodah act without neutralizing it by thinking of Hashem, and he's doing something outwardly nishtazoi because there is a friend next to him who say, you're a great guy, thank you so much for respecting my religion and bowing down to my God, or because of the fear of the boss or the police. Such a guy is a shogeg, ve'ena miskaven, i.e., first of all, he's shogeg because he thinks that it's allowed. His rabbi told him he's allowed to do it. The rabbi is wrong. He was told, he was shogeg, that it's okay to bow down as long as it's not mechaven. And why is it not mechaven? Because it's not mechaven. He's not mechaven to really believe in the God, in that getchke. So, hey, we have a great case. What about this guy? He is doing it outwardly with no internal kavanah. His heart is, I don't care. No Hashem, lavdil, or no getchke. I just want to be friendly with that guy who's going to give me a promotion. That's all. So, and his shogeg, he thinks it's okay. And loy mechaven means, I'm misasek, I'm doing an outward peula. It's not exactly misasek of Shabbos. I'm not mechaven in my heart to anything religious. I just want to get the promotion because the boss is next to me. That's all. I'm purely here for that, or because that wife of him told him, and you chayev. That misasek you chayev on. Because Lamaisa, you bow down. You had you're now anti-kavanah, I want Hashem. You did bow down. And that's where you chayev chatas. Why chatas? Because you thought it's okay. But the action you're chayev on, you thought it's okay, just like I thought it's okay to do boirer on Shabbos. You thought it's okay to bow down with no internal kavanah. It's okay, and it's not okay. You chayev chatas, mazel tov, half a mazel tov. Why? Hani chalabai do'amar chayev. According to Abaye, which by the way happens in the Rav is the one talking, according to Abaye that says chayev, according to Abaye that says chayev, good, we found it, we got the formula right. Both Reish and Sefer are consistent. They talk about avodah zarah, you have misasek of avodah zarah, you chayev. Ela leRav adomer potur. Rav apparently says you potur. Rav says that if I bow down with no kavanah whatsoever, my heart is empty, and I'm doing it only because of social pressure. Even not pikuach nefesh, I'm potur. If so, that's how Rav defines avodah zarah. It has to be internal and external. If it's only external and potur, says Rav, my kalamema, boom. We found misasek and avodah zarah. We're looking for misasek avodah zarah chayev. According to Rav, it's potur. So where's your case? Ella be'omer mutar. Oh, we're trying now another one. The guy is worshiping avodah zarah, and he means avodah zarah, but he thinks it's okay. He's completely clueless, meaning not that he forgot. Now Misasek takes a different aspect. Shogeg ben miskaven means it's like a super mistake. Rashi says, the third to last Rashi, kigon ger shenizgar ben anochim kasavo she'en b'dazar b'toiro v'kal shogeg below miskaven, which means that guy is a ger that was megar the wrong way. He is Jewish. Tosa discussed it on one of the weekends we didn't learn together. It's like tinuk shenishba. In other words, it's a person who really never ever knew that avodah zarah is not allowed. It's a mega super shogeg, or it's a ger that was megayer by the wrong kind of Beis Din. He is Jewish because he's sincere and he accepted any mitzvah you'd give him. That's the definition. He's really a good guy. If a real good Orthodox rabbi will tell him anything, he'll do it. He never heard about avodah zarah. He was megayer in Beis Din in Guatemala. They didn't tell him about avodah zarah. They were not maspik to tell him. So these guys complete right from the start, completely clueless about avodah zarah. And he bows down to avodah zarah. He davens Maidan Shachris in the afternoon, does avodah zarah, doesn't know any better. It's called Omer Mutter, it's completely thinks that it's okay. So this guy is chayev, because Lamaisa is chayev what? Chayev korban, chayev shogeg, chayev chatos, because it's a mega shogeg, is chayev. Frag the Gemara, wait a second. B'sheken b'Shabbos the potur legamre? Continue the formula. What did the Sefer say? We're looking for a case of misasek that's chayev avodah zarah, but Shabbos would be potur. Wrong. We all know that a guy that completely doesn't know about Shabbos has to bring one chatas. Shochach ikal Shabbos. He has to bring one chatas. And the Gemara compares it. The Gemara continues the question. Akan lo ba'im in Erovim Rav Nachman. Remember Rav Nachman? There was about a guy who forgot that today's Shabbos, and he forgot all 39. So it's a really big mistake on both sides. No Shabbos and no 39 details. And the only question was, are you chayav 1 or you chayav 2 or 39, right? When you have a mega mistake. Aval mifter legamri loy. Never found on Shabbos, you've completely potter. Your mistake is so grand and big, you're completely potter. So again, the formula doesn't work right. Bekitzer, we are stuck, my friends. We have, according to Rava, who is the author of this whole business, Rava did not find us a second case, a seifa, the variable in the seifa. If it's a Avodah, no. We did not find a case in which a Avodah would be Misasek chayev and Shabbos would be Misasek potter. Because if you talk about a guy who has a mega mistake about Avodah, doesn't know this entire area in halacha, both of Avodah would be chayev and Shabbos would be chayev. And if you talk about, that's it. We tried everything. Therefore, we unfortunately have to say that's the next stage. I'm continuing, yeah, just to the 2 dots, okay? And that, or are the 2 dots? Yeah, if you don't mind, or we can, up to you. Elalav, unfortunately, we are not working with consistency anymore. Reisha be'akum, what we're going to learn now is the biggest of the Torah Kula. Reisha be'akum. Again, we have to now separate and differentiate between the Reisha and the Seifa. The X is not the same X as the other one. In the Reisha, we remain the same. Which is the Avera? Do you have 1 chatas for many, many details of the Zohar? Yeah, the guy did the Shtachavaya, Nisuch, Zibuach, Chav 1. The Seifa cannot be of the Zohar. It must be another mitzvah. The Seifa, Bishar mitzvois. The shogeg below miskaven mishar mitzvah seichidami. If it's not of the Zohar, what is that mega misasek of the Seifa that applies to other mitzvahs, and there you are chayav on misasek? And says the Gemara, famous line, misasek bechalovim ve'arayes. The savu, I'm just adjusting the screen, yeah, the savu, the shumanu ve'acholoi. Yeah, in other words, the person is absolutely sure that the item is shuman, and he ate it. 2 mistakes. He doesn't know that you're not allowed to eat chelev. Nobody taught him that in Jewish school, right? And he also thinks that the piece of chelev is shuman. Double mistake. Classical. Now, he's chayiv. He's chayiv chatas. Even though he doesn't know both facts, he's still chayiv chatas. Mashenk and Shabbos. In Shabbos, no. The potur. Shabbos, the same case, would be potur. Why? The niskav and lachtach chesatolush, the chotach chesamchuba potur. Very good. This is Rava. And by the way, this is where Rava brought down the whole story. Now Rava is very happy. Let's summarize. What did Rava say? Rava said as follows. When you have a case of you wanted to cut the already cut tomato, and you cut the attached tomato, it's very similar. I wanted to cut beheter and a cut beiser, says a Rava, that's misasek. Same thing, he wanted to eat. He didn't want to dance. He didn't want to read a book. He didn't want to photograph the chelev. He wanted to eat shuman and ate chelev, right? So therefore, on Shabbos, I'd be potter and misasek, and in chelev, I'm chayev. Why am I chayev on chelev? Why? And the answer is the famous line appears many times in Shas, misasek bechalovim v'arayis chayev. Why? Because here we're talking about bodily pleasure. Your body physically enjoys be'ila and achila. It's mamash a physical thing, and therefore you chayev. Shabbos, I'm not chayev for enjoyment. You know, people actually may not like to cook or does your wife like to do the laundry? I don't think so. It's also. It's not pleasurable physically necessarily. So on Shabbos, by the mind, you potter misasek. Chalovim v'arayis, you chayev and misasek because l'mais you enjoyed. I'm sorry, mister. You did have a lot of fun having this delicious chelev. Wow, all oozing oil and all amazing. Yeah, he was wondering why it's so right. The Hasidic idea that if it's too tasty, it may not be kosher, right? And therefore, finished. Mimele you chayev. On Shabbos, you'd be potter. But the word of Rava, as opposed to Bai, is that there is similarity. I wanted to cut a tomato, and I cut a tomato. But here's the kosher versus treif version and potter. Mashenk and chelev, I wanted to eat shuman, and I ate chelev, I'm chayev. That's Rava's pinnacle. Hi, Abaye. Abaye, what would the answer to that? Shogeg below miskav and hechidami. Abaye cannot say that. About what does the Bai say about cutting the tomato, the other tomato? You chayev. So if so, in the case of chaylev, that's not a chiddush. We're looking now for a case that when did the Bai say that you potter misasek? When he wanted to pick up the knife and cut the tomato, it is more far apart. Picking knives and cutting tomatoes, different. Only then it's misasek. So it's not similar to wanting to eat shuman and chaylev. They are the same. And says the Gemara, wow. He didn't know that it's chaylev. He thought it's a piece of spittle because it's like legale. It looks a bit like that, the dancing yellowish thing. I'm sorry to be disgusting. So he thought it's a bit of his own saliva, and he swallowed it. And that's very different. He wanted to swallow saliva, and he ate chaylev. It's more far apart. And mashenken, and then it still is chayev because his body enjoyed that. Mashenken b'Shabbos the potu the equivalent to that of Shabbos is different actions. Swallowing guk instead of eating nice food are different, and you chayv on chaylev, and that is the equivalent of picking up a knife on Shabbos instead of cutting a tomato that are far apart, and you still what? And your potter there. Oh. Mashenken, if I wanted to cut the allowed one and I cut the forbidden one, then it's not far enough. There's not enough of a distance, the difference between what I wanted and what I achieved. That's not called misasek. That's called shogeg and chayev, as opposed to over. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. It's chazara, but comparing to yesterday, that was easy. It's all relative. So that's very nogal halacha. There's a shala in halacha about the chroinim. You're going to laugh. Is misasek mutter or only b'diavad? What do you mean mutter? I don't know what I'm doing. If you see your friend about to do misasek, do you have to warn him or not? There's a shaila. Let's say by children, you're allowed to allow your child to open that. Again, you forgot to turn off the light in the fridge. You know, we already have an automatic one, yeah? Yeah, you forgot to turn off the light. You know, that nightmare that every Jewish family experiences every once in a while. There are no going around. You're not allowed to tell your child to do it. That's worse. It's the Olaisa. Let's say the child me'atzma wants to open the fridge, and you know that he's going to this. That's not exactly misasek. That's psikresha, actually. That's psikresha. I'm sorry. Bad example. There are questions of misasek also. You see that your friend is about to hit the light with his elbow, and you want the light on. There's a shaila in the achronim. Do you have to warn him or not? Is misasek potro shebapotu, or maybe misasek is okay? What do you mean okay? He doesn't know what he's doing. From looking from the side, do you have to warn him or not? So I don't know the halacha. Something to think about. You have a whole week to think about it because I'm going to be away. Okay, hatzlacha v'rocha. Thank you very, very much to all of you, and I'll miss you so much, really. Damn, I really like this group very much.